Hello, I'm Rick Bayshard, and thank you for visiting my channel. Oftentimes we may have heard that the truth is within us, and technically speaking, that is true. And what that is really saying is that we already are in touch with the truth in some capacity, but it's blocked by this fog of the world's distractions and our relationships and our feeling needy and so on. And what A Course in Miracles is trying to do is to help remove the fog of, or the veil of, what keeps us from recognizing the truth. The word recognizing in of itself, or the roots of it, is to re-know what's already there. So it's not really teaching us anything, it's removing, again, through its metaphysics and its principles, the things that seem to have kept the truth out of our awareness. And so Helen Schucman, the scribe of the Course, she was able to generate this incredible, egoless book. And many people asked her, well, how was she able to do this? And her common response was, well, she wasn't special, that all of us have the capacity to do something like that. And for Helen, and the way that she was able to have this book come through her, so to speak, was that over her life, again, there's a book about her scribing of the Course. It's called Absence from Felicity by Dr. Kenneth Wapnick, and I'll put the link to it in the description below. But it does discuss how she was able to generate this remarkable book and its teachings, and it's so well written, and it's Shakespearean influence, it's Freudian influence, it's logic. But one of the methods, or one of the dynamics of how that happens is whenever any of us begin to work on ourselves, we do get closer and tap into that truth or that love that's already within us. And what happens is, as we do, it's like we tap into, imagine a closet door and there's a light on, and you open the door a little bit and the light in the closet shines through. But we get afraid of that light a little bit and we close the door. But the light that shone through will take form in this world of illusion in a way that we can understand and accept. And it's kind of like our loving gift to the world. And for Helen Schucman, it was A Course in Miracles. She was able to use, or love used all of her inherent strengths and her talent of her as a psychotherapist, as someone who understood theology from the Jewish and Christian perspective. She was her love of logic, her love of Freud. And all of that came together to put down A Course in Miracles. But again, the ability to do that was generated by the love that she was able to tap in through her own personal process and struggle, if you would, in her own journey. And that is true for all of us. Now, we may not necessarily generate a book, but that doesn't matter. That what matters is that love in this world can be echoed, can be reflected when any time any of us begin to work on ourselves and we're able to tap into that love within all of us, that truth within all of us. And again, that light will shine through us in ways that we don't have to control. It'll take form that's loving. And we can't necessarily judge what that will look like. For Helen, it was a book. For somebody else, if you're a scientist, maybe it's a cure for an illness. And it could be as simple as being a teacher and saying something to a child that nobody else could have said. And I think that's an important thing to remember and to know, how things in this world can be reflected with love. And again, the way that is done is as we work on ourselves, we begin to tap into that love, that truth that's within all of us. Now, we want to make sure that as we do that, it's going to be a process. You can't expedite that. You can't make that happen. It's all about you coming to a place within yourself where you begin to realize the world isn't what you thought, and the religions you may have been brought up with don't really sit with you properly, and you're still trying to find a peace. And that's a representation that at your own mind level, that you're beginning to be ready to hear, what the truth is. And again, it's not necessarily, I don't get caught up on and what it looks like. What really matters is that each of us begin to realize that I want to work on myself, and as I do, one of the results of that will be me tapping into the mind level, my own mind level, and I'll tap into that love that's at the right mind, so to speak. And we're afraid of that sometimes because we open the door of the closet and the light's kind of scary, and we might close it, but it doesn't matter. If that light came through, it will take form in this world that's really helpful and healing and forgiving. And I think that that's a good thing to know, in the sense that if that happens to us, in whatever way that might look like, that is part of the process, and that we can celebrate that. And I don't get too caught up about like trying to make that happen, as I mentioned a few minutes ago. I think when it does happen, you kind of like experience it in the sense that, yeah, I'm doing this in a very loving way, and it's because I've asked for that inner teacher, that help. And I think that regarding Helen Schuckman, for her it came out, and again, in this remarkable text. But it's okay if what I do is simply something that seems insignificant. I mean, we don't want to get caught up in what the Course would call hierarchy of illusions. Because love is love, and whether it's a remarkable text of A Course in Miracles, or it's Shakespeare doing one of his remarkable plays, or Beethoven doing his Ninth Symphony, whatever that might be, the form is irrelevant. What is relevant is that each of us have been able to work on ourselves and let love be reflected in this world in some way or fashion. And that's not only good for us, it's good for all of our brothers and sisters, because when they experience that love, that reminds them too, in ways that we necessarily don't understand or have to worry about. But if we come to them in a loving way, whether it's A Course in Miracles or through music or through some simple, kind words, that reminds them on levels they may not be immediately aware of, that they too can choose differently. And the choice they're going to make at another level is to begin to step away with their identification with the ego thought system, that they're separate, that they're sinful, that they're guilty, and that they have to be afraid. And that's how we teach each other in this world. It's not by necessarily shaking somebody's shoulders and saying, look at this book. I don't often don't even mention A Course in Miracles to people. It's not necessary. If it comes up in a conversation, I will. But the idea is you want to teach people by tapping into that love that is within all of us, and that will come through us. For Helen Schuckman, it was A Course in Miracles, and for each of us it may look different. But it allows us not just to be able to come to a place of peace, but to be aware that that's how we teach others, and by demonstration. Because Jesus reminds us in A Course in Miracles, he says, teach not that I died on the cross, rather teach that I did not die by demonstrating that I live in you. And the way you demonstrate is by working on yourself and tapping into that love within you, and that love will come through you and inform, generate maybe A Course in Miracles, and maybe again it's simply a tap on the shoulder. But for us at the world at large, since we may be A Course in Miracles students, many students were wondering, well, how did she do something so remarkable? Well, yes, it is remarkable, but we all have that capacity. We may not generate something in form that is seemingly as remarkable, it doesn't matter. Love is love. And however it might look is irrelevant. What matters is that it's love, and it will be healing in that regard. So thank you very much for visiting my channel. If you like this channel and my videos, please feel free to hit subscribe and hit a like. And if you have any questions, email me. And I look forward to seeing you again in the near future in one of my videos. Thank you.